What's up guys, it's RSI back in a new video, and today's video we're going to be talking about why I'm obsessed with Terminator 2 3D Battle Across Time. A ride or attraction you want to say has been in 3 different Universal Studios around the world. Well, 2 in the United States and 1 outside.
The future is coming after you, ruthlessly, relentlessly, engulfing you, overwhelming you, until it ultimately terminates you. And only one thing can save you.
I said I'd be back.
Terminator 2 3D Battle Across Time, an incredible new way to ride the movies, only at Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Alright, so talking about this, why I'm obsessed with Terminator 2 3D Battle Across Time, a ride or attraction that has been at both Universal Studios Florida, Hollywood, and Japan, aka Orlando, California, Osaka. Even though I said it in a weird order, but yeah. So the story goes of how I got obsessed with this ride is because as an 8-year-old, I was not really into movies like that. I mean, as you guys know, I was making Chucky content in the past, but I was 8 years old in the past. I'm trying to get to that story. So when I was 8, I already had to fall in love with the Chucky movies. I watched all 5 at the time because it was the year like 2009, 10, and they only had Seed from Child's Play 1 to Seed. And I was not really into other movies like that. I did watch other classics like Ninja Turtles, a couple of horror movies like Freddy Krueger and all like that. So one day during the summertime, I can't remember, it was 2009 or 2010, I think they had released Terminator 2, like a re-release in DVD, but better quality, like quality that reached that time. And I remember my dad showing me that movie. I'm thinking it was a brand new movie because the effects and everything matched up today's effects, like, you know, like what came out around that time. I think Iron Man already came out. Well, it came out in 08, I think, and then like a couple of Spider-Man movies as well. Not the Amazing yet, but yes, I remember. So the quality and stuff kind of matched that time. I mean, it still matches up to today, Terminator 2 Judgment Day. So yeah, I'm thinking in my head like, dude, this is a brand new movie because this quality is pretty decent. I remember finishing the movie and stuff. I think I remember the movie being on Netflix too. But so yeah, I thought the movie was amazing. I kind of fell in love with it, you know, as a young kid. I think I was 8 years old or something. I think 2009 I was 7, so I must have seen that at 7 years old, falling to 8 years old. But I remember that same between year. I'm thinking nobody told me what year this movie came out, right? Because the special effects, everything matched up in this era. So I'm over here like, yeah, this movie is probably like maybe almost a year old, you know, blah blah blah. So I remember, you know, I got invited as a family trip to Florida, right? So it was the year like 2010. I think it was close to being 11. It was around like the summertime for sure, 2010. Toy Story 3 had came out. I remember I was collecting the Toy Story 3 characters and stuff, the original ones. But yeah, I was 8 years old, just buying Toy Story toys. So that's kind of accurate at that time, you know. So yeah, we're going to, you know, Disney. Obviously, that's what the family trip's about, going to Disney. And not knowing Universal Studios existed, and I feel like I've been there. There's pictures of me way before being 8 years old having a Shrek plush and then the Universal Globe. So I probably have memories of going to Universal back then. Just not, it doesn't, I guess it's a blur. I don't remember, but to be honest. So let's follow up to that story. So it was the year 2010. We went to, you know, a Disney trip as a family, all my cousins and stuff. We started off at Busch Gardens, then made it the next couple of days, made our way to Universal because Disney was gonna be done last during the trip, then Islands of Adventures at the end. But so yeah, we go to Universal after Busch Gardens. After a day of Busch Gardens, we go to Universal Studios Florida. I'm over here thinking like, okay, this is another theme park that's not Disney. It reminds me of Hollywood Studios because I remember that on top of my head. I remember Hollywood Studios. I probably got them two mixed, but whatever. So yeah, I remember, going to Universal Studios, seeing that big roller coaster called Hollywood Rocket, and just telling myself I'm not gonna do that because at the time I was scared of heights. So we go to Universal Studios. First ride they want to do is first thing they want to do is hit the front of the park where like today Despicable Me and Minion Blast stay at, but at the time it was Jimmy Neutron Blast and Shrek 4D, and so we go straight down that way. Somehow we skip. I think we did go to Shrek 4D. I'm not 100% sure. I forgot, but I remember going straight to Twisters. I didn't go in that ride because I thought it was like the Blue Man Group was in it because they had a Blue Man Group banner at the time in front of that ride. So ended up going to the next ride, but it wasn't with my whole family. It was my uncle from my dad's side. Obviously, the whole family is from my dad's side. So one of my uncles from my dad's side and his family had an express pass, like a huge express pass where the whole family gets to cut the line to the front of the line of being one of the first riders of anybody in line. That's how it works. But so we go to another ride called The Revenge of the Mummy. I know all you guys know about that. It's a classic. So as an 8-year-old, it wasn't for me. Now I go on that like a piece of cake, like nothing. It doesn't really do any effect towards me. I'll do that any day of the time if you invite me into Universal. But back then as an 8-year-old, didn't know what the ride was about. I thought the ride was about like probably like special effects show or something, or special effects movie screen ride or something like that, because that's what Universal Studios was kind of like at the time and still is in a way to me. But no, not all rides are like that, thank God. But anyways, so we go to this mummy ride. I'm over here like, oh cool, it kind of has that roller coaster vibe. Nothing is a roller coaster, right? And over here buckled in. Remember, it's kind of like creepy. The whole theme is creepy. As a kid, you probably get goosebumps, or maybe not if you're that brave as a 6 to 8-year-old. But yeah, so I go in with my family, like my dad's side of the family, like his uncle, my uncle, and my cousins and my aunt. We go on the ride, we go buckle in, we get to the first scene where the, what is his name, Reggie or something, tells you get out of here, what are you doing here? So, yeah, I got to that scene, was a little creeped out, didn't think nothing of it. But man, when the fire scene happened, I'm like, damn, like, when those little statues pop up from just off the ground somehow, I'm like, damn, like this is kind of cool but kind of creepy, but I guess the ride keeps going. I have no choice, but the ride's going itself, So we go the first little like side turn, and it's dark. We hit the front, the whole like, at the time the effects were working. At the time those little like the insects that jump on you, they were working at the time, because I felt that as an 8-year-old. And so after that we go backwards. I'm like, what the heck? And then the whole thing turns, then we go forward into a roller coaster motion. I'm like, oh no, this ride's not for me. This ride's not, bro. First drop, I'm already freaking out. I'm holding my breath. I'm like, at the time I wasn't into roller coasters. Now I am. I go, any roller coaster as long as everyone's down. I don't like going solo, to be honest. But yeah, at the time I'm holding my breath. Boom, 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 boom. All this stuff happened. The flames happened. I'm just holding my breath. I'm hoping this ride's over by the time, it hits a minute or so. But yeah, we get to that. Before the flames, we get to that operator telling you that the ride's over, but it was obviously a trick. Obviously, everyone knows. And we're here like, damn, this ride's not gonna end. So we get to our last drop, boom, 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 and then we see the screen where, I forgot his name, but the main character tells you that, like, glad you enjoyed the experience or whatever, but he hadn't had a cup of coffee yet, and then he disappears. The ride's over. I'm over here like, holy crap. I'm like, damn, thank God the ride's over, So yeah, we ended up getting on the ride. My cousin's telling me like, yeah, I didn't like the backwards thing, and it was too hot. And when the flames came out, mind you, it was already like June, so Florida was already burning people and stuff. So yeah, so I'm like, yeah, the backwards thing was kind of lame, you know. The whole time I'm trying to like be cool, and the whole time I was scared of the drops. You know, it was only like what 2 or 3 drops. But that was because I was 8 years old. Now I could go in that like nothing. I think the older you get, the body and everything, your body just gets to be stronger on stuff like that. And it's kind of fun now. But anyways, so yeah, we get out that ride, we meet up with the family, we go with Disaster. Disaster is what it is. It's like Earthquake, pretty much from Universal Studios Hollywood. So after coming out of that, I'm not sure we go to Men in Black. I forget if we went to Men in Black, probably did. But we ended up going to The Simpsons. After finishing The Simpsons, I'm not lying to you, when I seen the map, because you go towards the map thing, they have E.T., the Terminator at the time was there, Barney, and then they had a couple things. Oh, it had Jimmy Neutron and Shrek 4D, and I think Hollywood River Rocket was there. Maybe it was more of the map going down that way towards Terminator 2 3D. But when I seen Terminator on that, I'm like, what the heck? Like, why is Terminator here? You know, like, isn't this, you know, this movie kind of new? Like, there's no way they made a ride right away. Because at the time, I didn't know. At the time, I thought Terminator 2 came out like a year ago almost or something, because the quality matched up, the effects, everything matched up at the time when I watched it the first time in my life. Over here telling everybody like, yo, so this is Terminator 2 in 3D, or why is it called Terminator 2 3D? So I'm over here like, I can't wait to go Terminator 2 3D. They go to E.T. I don't know why they didn't go to E.T. at the time, but I love E.T. now, the ride. So they go, like, so some of my family go to E.T. I wait, like, obviously, you know, as a kid, you have your mom, everybody. I had my other aunts. We wait for them to come out, and then we end up going to Terminator 2 3D. And I told my cousin, one of my cousins, because I had so many, I was like, bro, I hope this is not Terminator 2 in 3D. I just want to watch the whole movie. I don't want to spend my you know what I'm saying? I don't want to spend my day, kind of have most of my day watching Terminator 2 in 3D. You know, kind of, you know, I could watch that at home, not in 3D. You know, but so yeah, we go to the ride. The pre-show is like kind of amazing. I'm like, what the heck is this? Like Cyberdyne stuff. Like, obviously it's in the movie, right? But like, why are they representing the movie like this? Like, this is pretty cool. The triangle's turning around 360 all the time. The sound, you know, the theme to it was like technology advanced. I'm like, whoa, you know, this is pretty cool. So yeah, we wait like 10 to 20 minutes, and a lady comes out named Kimberly Duncan. Obviously, she's a classic of the attraction as well. Like, she's like the Jaws skipper to the actual event for Terminator 3 to work. So yeah, we hear what she has to say. Boom, she shows us a preview of what's going to come, like all the new future tech they've been working on, you know, because it's followed up Cyberdyne's making all this technology. And I'm over here like, what the heck? You know, this is pretty cool, but I don't think this is the movie. I don't think, how you gonna, like, so you're gonna, like, to my mind, like, so you're gonna show us the new tech, then bring the movie up. The text, the reason why, like, I don't know, something to follow with the movie. I don't know, some little theory or something in my head at the time. So then we're continuing watching it. Then you hear, like, you start hearing static, and then boom, the screams start getting staticky. I see Sarah and John interrupting this preview of the future, and I'm like, whoa, what the, like, what's going on? You know, I'm like I'm just a kid. I'm kind of amazed, like, bro, like, did John Connor just get old? In my mind, like, John Connor just became a teenager within a year? Because at the time, it wasn't known like that. I know kids nowadays, like Disney kids, you know, I remember when I was a kid, Disney kids will get older within 2-3 years. They look like kids. They look like 12-year-olds. And somehow they end up becoming like close to 18-year-olds in like 2 years or 3 years. So I'm like, how did John Connor become 12 to 10 and now he looks like a grown-ass adult, like grown adult, you know? So I'm like, whoa. So that's John and Sarah on Scream. this is pretty cool. And then they show you the preview of Terminator 2. I'm like, what the? Like, whoa, what's going on? Like, hold on. Like, this movie just came out in my mind, right? Nobody told me when this movie came out. I never asked anybody when this movie actually came out at the time. So I'm over here like so amazed. Can't wait to get to the program and see what's behind those doors. So this whole thing ends, and then we go behind those doors, and it's this auditorium, and I'm like, cool. They're about to break in this auditorium. That's what they're saying, or something's about to happen in this auditorium, you know. And yeah, the pre-show led to the main thing, and Kimberly Duncan's right there telling us about what they're working on, and this is what they have. And some robots, 3 robots pop up, because this is the Florida version, not the Hollywood. Never been to Hollywood, but the Florida one was the first. But anyway, so yeah, so I go in the auditorium, get to the part with the robots. I'm like, dude, this is cool. The robots are shooting smoke, flames, and it looks legit, you know? But like, what you call it? So yeah, they get to finishing shooting those targets and stuff, and the Kimberly characters are already talking about Skynet, and then the screen goes up. Next thing you know, you see Sarah and John popping up. At the time I was a kid, I thought they were real. Like, oh, these are the real people. Like, what the, you know, did Universal pay the main actors to do this for a year or so? Because this is pretty cool. But obviously, researching it, they're just live actors, not the real actors. But yeah, so it gets to that part where they break in. So I'm over here like so amazed, like what the heck is going on, bro? The T-1000 pops out of the screen because Sarah shot the screen, and then, you know, Kimberly Duncan's over here confused. This T-1000 ends up taking out Kimberly Duncan. Then T-1000 takes over the T-70s robots, and bro, the Scream has another surprise. The T-800 blasts off. I'm like, yo, dude, Terminator. I was already into Terminator. I'm like, now it got me 100% in Terminator. Like, I want Terminator merch, you know. And all this stuff is happening, and Terminator brings out a shotgun, shoots the T-1000. T-1000 gets down for a bit, comes back up. John Connor jumps on a motorcycle into the screen with the Terminator, and all this stuff is happening in 3D because they told you to put those glasses on earlier. And man, everything is so amazing, bro. The T-1000 is coming in, chasing them. Then we got the hunter killers up in the sky, trying to shoot John and Terminator down. Next thing you know, they blast off but still survive, and the mini hunters come out of nowhere. Other new character besides the T-70, and we get to see them get chased by them, get shot at by them, and then T-100 hurry ups and takes them all out. Then after knowing that the coast is clear, and boom, another surprise, a T-100 endoskeleton pops out and tries to take out John, but gets distracted by the other T-100, and boom, we get that line of, it was his college roommate. But then later on, they get all these equipments from, I guess, the T-800 itself. I don't know the T-800, the endoskeleton had a book bag on him, but John Connor ends up coming in with a book bag or something like that. And then, you know, they get off to Skynet. They can get to Skynet's base. Then, what should I call it? They get into Skynet's base. The live actors pop out of Scream. Everything is so amazing. As a kid, 8-year-old me, I'm just mind blown. I'm like, bro, this is really happening. Like, I wanted Terminator merch before the trip, but I just didn't know they had Terminator attraction in this trip. I'm like, what's the coincidence? Where's the Chucky attraction in my head? But you know, they didn't have one. But they then after them doing all the exploring in the Skynet, bro, they get interrupted by a T-1 million, another new character, a T-1000 looking like a big spider of a T-1000. It's called a T-1 million Meg, or T-1 million in general. So they get spotted by that because so I read the story, like the main like theory story. So every Terminator in that base, it was the I guess the theme was the end of the war, the battle across time. That's what the Bride's based about. But it was end of the war of Skynet, and yeah, they all the Terminators were kind of busy at the time, which is crazy. So the only thing operating was the T1 million. So they had to find a way to stop it. So obviously the Terminator took the plasma rifle or ray gun, whatever you call it, plasma rifle from the endoskeleton. So he shoots it with that. Obviously the T1 million could withstand that. Just a couple stuff coming out of him, then regaining it. So yeah, they're finding a way. They're trying to find a way to stop this. So they find liquid nitrogen on top of one of the base, and John tells the T800 to shoot it. Shoots it, and he gets frozen cold because the material is made of. And somehow the T800 forgets to do the line, "Hasta la vista, baby." And instead of doing that, he shoots it. And John's like, "All right, bro, why you forgot to move, right?" So then they don't have that much time because they already know the time portal is already trying to take off for John to go back home. And the T800 knew what's up, so he told him, "Yeah, you're ready to go," and he knows what to do. And he blows himself up while John Connor goes back in time and back to the present. So all the smoke comes out, which is pretty amazing. I'm like little 8-year-old me. I'm over here like, bro, this is mind blowing. Like, what's going on? So after all the smoke clears up, obviously you see Sarah and John, and then a picture of the endoskeleton that reflects to the T800 model 101. And yeah, Sarah tells you about she owes her life to the T800 and for saving John. And yeah, they show Sarah and John. Obviously, the show ends because the whole thing goes black, dark, and the characters disappear. And after that show ended, I spent like 20-30 minutes in the gift shop trying to find something I wanted. And at the time I was a little kid, I had my own money, not too much, but because I just had like first communion or something. I graduated from first communion or whatever you call it, the church school stuff. And I had to pick an item. I wanted to pick like so many. There were so many items at the time. I guess Universal Studios was still advertising Terminator in the parks and had his own store. I know over time that store became a DC comic or some type of comic reflection of stuff. Also like shows that were relevant, like Walking Dead and all that. But yeah, at the time when I first went, nothing but Terminator 2, 3 stuff. I only picked one toy, and I do have this toy today, and I'll show you later on. But I want to finish, my talk. So yeah, this was probably one of my last attractions I went on to that day, not today, that day, right? So that was one of the last attractions I went on that day because I think my family went to Jimmy Neutron's Blast. I've never been in Jimmy Neutron's Blast, but I heard it was okay. Despicable Me was a reskin of it, so it's pretty much if I went to Despicable Me, I kind of know how Jimmy Neutron was kind of. Same thing with Back to the Future is a reskin. Systems is a reskin to it, but I mean there is good quality in that Back to the Future ride that I heard of. And I don't know if I've been to the Back to the Future ride. I might have when I was young, but like I said, vision and stuff was a blur. I might have went on the Jaws ride when I was young. I just don't remember, and I kind of want to remember, But yeah, we're gonna go get to the basics of how many times I went on this ride, and that was pretty much the story and how I got into it. It's a memory that will be locked in my mind forever because of how I got into Terminator 2 3D. And I'm gonna go more details on how this ride worked, how this ride was created, why James Cameron got involved, all types of stuff. So yeah, let's get to those clips and how many, live actors they had in history. Maybe I might know, maybe I'm not, but we'll see. All right, so we're on the next day. So talking about Terminator 2 3D Battle Across Time, the way how it was created, which is crazy to think, is that Universal wanted the first Terminator movie to be a stunt show at their parks. And it was Vision at Universal Studios Florida, like in 93, 94. And so they went to the company MGM, I think, that owned the first one. And it was declined because the first one was going through rights issues. So back then, I guess MGM had a lot of issues with original stuff. Like Child's Play, a couple other things. I don't know, a Pinhead. The Pinhead became MGM Studio product. I don't know. So all I know is they had issues trying to do Terminator 1, which made no sense trying to do Terminator 1. So they went to Terminator 2 because it was so successful, and they seen all the box office, the hit and everything the box office was making from it. So they were Vision to ask Gary Goddard. Gary Goddard works at the park, or had worked at the park, because all I remember is Gary Goddard making Jurassic Park and Spider-Man after. I think he made some other ride before those rides, before Terminator 2 3D. All I know is that he was part of the team of Universal. So they had asked him, can you make this a stunt show for Terminator 2 3D, or Terminator 2, or something about Terminator 2 stunt show? So he was like, all right, I'm gonna see the vision. How can we do this and that? At first, I think it was either given a ride at first, a show, or a walk around type of situation with Terminator. And obviously they didn't have space for a ride, because the space they were giving was the Hollywood section of Universal Studios Florida, the Hollywood area. And if they were gonna create a big building for a ride, they'll have to like shorten out ET or get rid of ET in the early stage, which they didn't want to do it, especially this being 94, 95 when this was happening, or a vision of idea. So they went with the ability to just make it a stunt show. But at first it was gonna be a little not really important stunt show. And they wanted James Cameron's signature to write it off, so they could have the rights to like bring Terminator 2 in their parks, or have an attraction called Terminator 2. So James Cameron, on the other hand, being cool and hard-headed as a cool way, because of him we got something successful. He was pretty mad. He was like, what does Universal want with my Terminator? What kind of brainstorm idea do they want with my idea of a good movie that I help direct and create, put out there? So he goes to a meeting with Universal. Universal pitched him an idea of what the stunt show is gonna be about, and he's just like still mad, right? So as soon as he hears the idea of Cyberdyne being involved, which it was part of the movie and all sorts of, so he heard all the story base of how the stunt show is gonna work and how they're interacting and all this stuff. How it wasn't no cheap matcha crap, or whatever you want to call it. So he was like, wait, y'all gonna have this all planned out? I'm over here thinking you guys are gonna show some bogus idea, and the whole time you guys did your research and invented something that made sense. And James Cameron was actually full on in it now. He was like, hold up, so this idea might work. Let's just not make the stunt show a crappy live action. Let's actually bring this to exclusively, like, pretty much saying that, like, let's bring this idea into a vision, make this my approval. We want, right? Let's actually do something really special with this stunt show. Let's actually bring the cast, make sure they're involved, make some film parts of it, so they can go in and out the theater or the screen, and make this a Child's Play, a Terminator 3, but it's called Terminator 2 3D. So in other vision, a Terminator 2.5, and I would really accept it as a Terminator 3, because This is actually James Cameron's last project he ever directed or worked on full on, and it will be to this day. James Cameron has never really worked, like when I say never really worked on a Terminator movie, I mean like Dark Fate doesn't really count because he produced it, but he gave the go for it. He didn't really care, and supposedly Genesis was one of them too that he gave it the go, and he was never near involved in Genesis, but Dark Fate supposedly he was. I don't know. I don't really care. Those movies don't really satisfy a fan of Terminator like me. So yeah, so he was like, all right, so let's bring Arnold, let's bring Eddie, let's bring Linda and Patrick, Robert Patrick, and let's actually make something out of this. Let's not make, you know, some cheap knockoff. Let's actually bring these people to do this project. So yeah, he comes in and get his budget in, you know, helps out with the project, helps do the filming of the project. Well, Gary Goddard has to like figure out the live action part of it. Well, James Cameron has to actually film the part for the live action as well for the screen to match up their face and make sure, like I said, like he said, no crappy stunt show, you know? So you literally had to like film that part of the stunt show where the screen was showing them. Usually that's in the beginning of the stunt show when John Connor and Sarah Connor bust in. That's also when Arnold comes in. Robert Patrick, I'm not sure if Robert Patrick was in it. But I know he's in a live feed. But yeah, so he had to film that towards the beginning and towards the end, and then Gary Goddard had to reenact all that together. And pretty much this ride was going to be a masterpiece of itself. So since James Cameron was involved, James Cameron was on his A game already. And James Cameron's always on his A game. Just the Avatar series, the last few ones, they ain't really like crazy like the first one, but they're good. But yeah, so James Cameron was always on his A game, getting to like the 80s and 90s and 2000s if he made a couple 2000 hits. But yeah, so the stunt show worked. James Cameron was involved, you know. Pretty much they hired the stunt actors. They had a bunch of stuff. It's in the making of Terminator 2 3D. If y'all never really seen that you know, short video, or like it's like 30 minutes of showing you how they involved Terminator 2 3D into attraction. And yeah, so that's how they had the idea to create it, or had the idea to like bring it to life, bring it to actual, you know, what it was when it was around. So we're gonna talk about how, you know, how this all came to be, which we did talk about that. But we're gonna talk about why Terminator 2 3D said it was created at Universal Studios Hollywood, or first brought up to Universal Studios Hollywood. So I did my research years ago when I was a kid. I probably was in high school, so you know that's when Terminator 2 3D was extinct for Florida finally. So I was in high school. It was like a year after they took down the ride. I remember seeing a live stream, or not a live stream, but like one of those streaming things where the voiceover that you could listen to on Spotify. And I remember this guy somehow got a hold of the first Terminator live actors, right? The first Terminator live actors. This is crazy, right? Like somebody had all the good research to do it. It wasn't me. That's the crazy monopoly. But anyways, so I remember listening to it, and I remember listening to the guy that played John Connor. He literally said the reason why Universal Studios Florida wasn't mentioned in the making of Terminator 2 3D was because at the time when they were advertising Terminator 2 3D, Arnold really kind of had a lock on wanting to show his face only to Universal Studios Hollywood, because they knew Universal Studios Hollywood would get this attraction somehow after Florida. So he told Universal Studios Florida not to advertise his face on any type of billboard or anything for Florida, because I don't know why it was like that. I mean, they're already spending money trying to get trying to spend the money to get this this attraction to life, and to promote it they only wanted endless skeletons as billboards or whatever. But Universal Studios Florida did not listen. Universal Studios Florida actually was like, you know what, we're investing money in this. Why does it only want Hollywood to have his face in a billboard when we're investing money in this as a corporation? Florida needs it too, you know. So they did that, and Arnold had seen that on a live feed, whatever, and he told Florida, like, all right, like, I guess Arnold convinced Cameron and everybody or whatever to not feature Florida in the making of Terminator 2 3D. So he was like, all right, since you guys did that, Terminator 2 3D, the making is not gonna have Florida mentioned at all, and we're gonna pretend to say that Hollywood was the first, which if you do research, it's not. But yeah, so the reason why Universal Studios Florida wasn't mentioned in the making or at all, because Universal Studios Florida did something to prevent that. But Hollywood was mentioned, which is cool. Even though it wasn't the first, it was made in 1999, or it was opened in 1999. The reason why that one took a delay, because it was supposed to be open in 97 in Hollywood, but due to it being on, like, the attraction being on top of a garage, it collapsed a couple, like, flooring down, and they had to maintain that for expansion, whatever, for that building. So they had to delay Universal Studios Hollywood due to that. So it had opened in 99. And then later on, 2 years later, Japan opens its Terminator 2 3D with the park, which, if you guys don't believe me, if you guys look it up, I seen the Jaws ride. It was in English at one point, the beginning of the year, beginning of Universal Studios Japan. Everything was in English, just for a few period of time. It wasn't all Japanese yet. I think they're barely converting it. I guess the process was so early that they left everything in English. Now everything's in Japanese, which is cool because, you know, you're in Japan. It's their region of language, or the language over there. But yeah, man, it's crazy to think that if you were actually there in the grand opening, most of the attractions were in English. I don't know if all of them were in English, but some were English for sure. Like Jaws was in English. I gotta do more research, but I know Jaws for sure was in English in Japan at one point over there. Yeah, so that's why the making Terminator 2 3 does not have Florida feature, because the guy who played John Connor pretty much mentioned it. Oh yeah, another good fact, that the guy who played John Connor, the stunt actor, not Edward Furlong, that's what I was talking about regardless. Not Edward Furlong did not say anything about that situation. It was some dude, I think his name was Jason, I don't remember. But some dude, he was the first live actor. Supposedly he looked like Edward Furlong. So the reason why how they cast him, which I only know so I do too much research into this ride. I'm obsessed, I'm telling you. So yeah, they do that. They literally have a little bit of set actors. I know Hollywood had the same situation. I know Japan, that's the one I don't know about. So, because everything's in Japanese, and I don't even know what happened to those live actors. Because Universal Studios Japan did not like celebrate a closure for Terminator 2 3D. They just closed it and replaced it with Detective Conan. And the saddest part is it was during COVID, and there was no official closing. Like, Universal Studios Japan did open, but that section itself was still like closed. Terminator 2 3D. People thought it was set to be abandoned for a bit. And there was no proper, like, all right, farewell, this is gonna be the last show, doing this date, we're touring last shows. No, they just, as soon as COVID hit, September 2020, they closed it for good and never did on last show. The last show was literally whenever they closed the ride before that date, whatever. That, or the show, attraction. But yeah, that was literally the last show, and there was no celebration to it. They just like, all right, close it, be gone, you know. Everyone, okay, we could just update certain people, but that's it. Yeah, Terminator 3D, it's gone, you know. Unlike Hollywood and Florida, they did kind of do a celebration. So I know Florida, they the live actors were on stage towards the end of the show. Then more of the live actors, like they have the doubles of them pop up as well. The TH-1000s, the Cameron Duncans as well. They pop up on the stage and they celebrate the last moment. They're gonna be dressed as those characters, as people, the live actors, the stunt actors. So yeah, they celebrate the last time they ever be on those uniforms. And to this day, we don't know what happened to those uniforms. I think one of them went on auction, the T800 one went on auction, one of these, prop shop auction websites. But the rest of them, like, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of dig the Terminator 2 3D John Connor's costume. And all these years, I tried replicating it, but when I was younger, but not now. I think as soon as I hit my teenage years, I think I just stopped trying to replicate it. I did try doing it as like a 10-year-old to like 12-year-old. I think as soon as I hit like 13, 14, I was moving on to different things at the time, you know, teenage stuff. But yeah, I didn't try to replicate it anymore. And but yeah, as soon as I seen Terminator 2 3D stuff from Universal for sale, I did purchase some. I will show you at the end of the video, but I always looked around to see if I could get my hands on a John Connor costume from there. I did my research, messaged a couple people that I know, like Hope the Future, Maurice, he's a good friend of mine. He knows, I told him before, I used to watch when I was younger, whenever I discovered the ride at the time, I just went on YouTube just to rewatch it as a mindset of my vision, and his videos popped up, and I loved them. They were like the only ones that like kind of did a documentary to the ride in a cool way. And he has, done more before they closed the ride. Well, he had it on a website for a bit, and then he published it on YouTube years later on, like I think in 2022 or 1, I don't remember, but I remember when I seen him, I was like, oh damn, he released these videos, like, even though these videos are old, you could tell they're like 2014, 2010, 11, 12, whatever. But he released them, and then he released the one when he was actually there in the final days of Terminator 2 3D in Florida, which he never experienced the one in Hollywood. The Hollywood one's similar. It just has 2 robots at each side, so 4 instead of 3 each side. So that equals 6 minus that is 4 on Hollywood, because how is a small auditorium. So he didn't really lose out on the Hollywood version. He did go to Japan. I'm kind of like, amazed. He did go to the other one in Japan. I think he's a hardcore Terminator fan. I think he's more bigger than me, because he honestly purchased the T70s, pieces of the T70s, and I only got certain ones. I'll show you throughout the video. But I'll show you everything I have from Terminator 2 3D, because I do have stuff. But like I said, my main goal was to get John Connor's costume, or maybe Kimberly Duncan's, which I didn't even see that at all. That's crazy. I know they did keep the character for Kimberly Duncan in Japan. I do got that plush Kimberly Duncan version, the Asian version of that. It had a name. I don't know. It's a different name. I think it's the same name probably over there, but in Japanese. But yeah, so I did end up scoring on a couple things that turned me to 3D, opening, and then the making. Like, there is a jacket I have that was involved in the making of Terminator 3D, but I'm not sure the exact one that wasn't filmed in the video, but it's the exact match. Like, meaning, nobody recreated this jacket. It's actually the exact match, because everything feels vintage, and just everything looks legit. Like the sewing and whatever, how they make the words, whatever, is legit. It's not like some cheap knockoff or anything. So, and then I seen that like they did have some for sale on eBay, but it went too much, and I scored for a good price, believe it or not, and ended up purchasing it. And then I know it's legit, because I did do that videos, like I did like zoom into that one clip scene all around, and then seen my jacket version, and it matched. The only thing I don't know is that they did a bunch of them, which I think they did, because Gary Goddard had one front one that had like another wording to it. That mine's only got one side of the front that has a wording to it, which I'm just a little like, yo, I wish I got the Gary Goddard one, but I know this is exactly the same one they made. It just, Gary Goddard had a special one, or maybe he just put some pins on his version. But yeah, so I think that was the biggest score I scored on Terminator 3 stuff, and then I had a T70 casting head, and a couple pieces of the robot as well. like the end, you know, I'll just show you it towards the end. But yeah, so talking about at the merchandise, we're gonna talk about so yeah, so the whole ride pretty much basically like it's known as a classic. Like if you look up Universal Studios hit classics, it'll be Jaws, Back to the Future, E.T., etc., and Terminator 3D in that mix. Even though Universal did not own the rights to Terminator, they did rent just to have it in the theme park. It is weird how contracts work. I think Universal is just renting out contracts for attraction and merchandise, while you could own a proper IP like E.T. and Back to the Future and own everything around it. So everything you sell or do around that is just free for all. You're just getting free, like you're just getting money regardless. Just like, you know, merchandise and just having it around because people love, you know, classic Universal. Which leads me to you know, was I satisfied of the replacements of Terminator 3D? I say I like one so far. I have yet not to experience Detective Conan, and I'm going to pretty soon. I hope so. But yeah, so let's say that the one I love, because well, let's go to the one I love. The one I love, the replacement Terminator 3D, the one in Florida, is actually an excellent replacement. Even though I hate to hear that. I love something that replaced something that I really love more. The reason why I say that because all the stunts on the new ride, the show, the Bourne Stuntacular, it doubles up all the action. Meaning like you think Terminator 3D was the amazing attraction ever, like for a show? No, man, this one levels up a little bit more. Like, yes, Terminator 3 we missed, but yes, this one has more details, meaning like we get more live action characters time in this one. Terminator 3D was like half and half, live action and screen. And that's the only thing people kind of like compare it to now. Like, yeah, Terminator 3D was amazing, but it had more of a screen show time than an actual live actor time. Meaning, like, you're only gonna see live actors for like about 3 to 5 minutes each after the middle of the screen time, whatever. So you get 3 to 5 minutes in the beginning, 3 to 5 minutes at the end. And then the middle part is the longest one. It's like what, like 7-8 minutes, maybe close to that. But yeah, so you're getting 7-8 minutes of that, and then you're getting 3 to 5 minutes each of the live actors in the part of it. And yet you still use the screen. You're still using the screen regardless in the show. But Jason Bourne levels it up where like we have sets, like we have actually like stuff that the actor interacts with and moves around while it being noticed as like, oh, like it ruined the show. No, like this is pretty decent. Like, yeah, you might have some aspects where like Terminator 3D could hide stuff from the audience where like Bourne can't really, that you see some stuff elevating up and down. But I think that's the only way you could succeed in this new attraction, because Terminator 3 was thought and planned by, you know, Gary Goddard, James Cameron, etc. But yeah, so Bourne was trying to replicate that, but you can't really like you can't really repeat what was good back then to, you know, what's good, like to make it better. Like, I mean, you can make it better, yeah, but you can't really repeat, you know, that situation where like you could go on the screen and this and that. No, because people get bored. It's just gonna look like a reskin, which isn't, to me, is not. Like, if people say Jason Bourne is a reskin of Terminator 3D, I don't know what they be smoking. But yeah, so yeah, that's my favorite one or replacement so far, the one in Florida. It kind of like gives you the attention, like, oh, we don't really miss Terminator 2 3D, but in a way you still gotta remember it's not there no more. So obviously it will be missed for me. But the one in Hollywood, which I did go to, the replacement, is despicable to me. To be honest, it's just a ride for kids. You know, I can't say much of that replacement. It's not really like satisfied for me because it's just a repeat. We got that in Florida, but we didn't get it replaced by it. Like it didn't replace Terminator 2 3D. It replaced Jimmy Neutron. But it's just a kid's ride, to be honest. So that's why I didn't really care for that replacement. To be honest, I kind of hated that replaced Terminator 2 3D because I think it's a waste of space. But other people will say different, which is cool. You know, whatever brings in more money flow for Universal to, you know, eat off. You know, and Despicable Me is actually more relevant today because kids love it than Terminator 2 in general. Like Terminator 2 is always gonna be a classic, don't get me wrong. Like it's gonna be relevant compared to other IPs, but Despicable Me, since it's like an IP that's still kind of like popular and hot out there, it's more recognizable today, you know. But yeah, so yeah, those are the only fees I kind of didn't like about the replacement. What I liked about the replacements. But yeah, I'm yet to experience Detective Conan in Japan, so I'm going to experience that soon. But I'm not gonna redo this video; it's just gonna be in a vlog. I'm planning a vlog, you know, when I go to University of Japan, you know, soon. I can't say how soon because I don't know how soon. But yeah, so that's everything I know about Terminator 2 3D so far. Like, there is supposed to be a documentary on my boy's Hope of the Future, Maurice Hughes. I think that's pronouncing the last name right. I'm not 100% sure how to pronounce his last name. But yeah, he's supposed to make one in a couple years, I believe. Like it's been like he's been saying something about like editing and stuff. He says he's gonna take his time with it. I don't know how close we are to his documentary, to be honest. It might have more details than mine, but this is all the details I collected for Terminator 3D. And yes, I do got other jackets right here. This is actually the one in the making of Terminator 3D Battle Cross Time. Where, let me see, I can walk it a little bit close. I have a certified platform there of that scene with the logos, or just details of the not the show, but the jacket from that event. I also got another jacket right down there. I don't know if you can see it. I'll just clip it in this video. But yeah, I got a total of 3 jackets. But let me clip the other one in the video of how it looked.
This is a filmmaker.
So yeah, this is another jacket I have. So I got this for a sweet deal. So this is actually a casting person's jacket from back in the days. This is actually real leather. This is for sure. This is from the ride because it says T2 Terminator 2 Battle Cross Time. It's just missing that 3D aspect of the event thing, and just this throws away that's honestly from the ride or the grand opening or something relevant with the ride Terminator 2 3D Battle Cross Time. And it's a real leather jacket, which is the sweet part. It's super screen matched or super matched to Arnold's jacket in the movie T2 and Terminator 2 Battle Cross Time. Terminator 2 3D Battle Cross Time. Yeah, I got a sweet deal on this, and it was worth every penny I paid for it. So yeah, this is also stuff that I own, like just Terminator merchandise. We also have autograph of the first poster, Linda Hamilton and Michael Biehn, and this used to be a different poster, but since the frame broke, I replaced the frame with a gold one, and the actual picture is like wood printed poster. It's not paper, that's why it shines a little bit, and you don't see any like crumbles anywhere. So this is actually a cool detail poster. Loved it. It was heavy taking it to the convention. I did go to the convention to get a sign, and you'll see a picture of me with every cast besides Arnold that I met. But yeah, this is also Edward Furlong's signature that I have. If you guys, stay tuned with my other videos. Got more and more details. Let me try to move this ET logo forward. Yep, it's about to fall. I'm gonna light this up. So yeah, I also got, I'll show you right now, which is crazy, I'll take it forever. But yeah, I also got the film strips from the ride. These are actual legit film strips. They run these every hour or so. I don't know if you can see it clear, but this is an endoskeleton from the actual ride. These are film strips. They got rid of the T1000 right here. I don't know if this camera could pick it up, but there's Arnold film strips right here. I don't know if this camera could literally pick it up or not, but it's so dark. It's that dark moment where Arnold's face pops up, an explosion of the T1000, and details of what, picked up information on. Then we got Leonard Hamilton's poster sign. Obviously, another piece that I love. Then here's the autograph section. We got some figures that are not autographed. Funko Pops from the Terminator 3D Battle Across Time. Yeah, this one never really happened, but the person that created it put it there. A shotgun. Then we got Leonard Hamilton's Funko Pop, from the ride, which he's missing more of a black piece right there, which is alright. It's more like ride mixed with the movie, like this. This is also signed by Leonard Hamilton, Michael Biehn, Edward Furlong, Robert Patrick. Two signed by Robert Patrick because T1000 is it. Also, this book is signed by Arnold, but I want an official signature that I know I witnessed for myself. All these legit. Yeah, I'll show you pictures of me meeting them. But so we also got the toy I was telling you about in my story of what I purchased when I first, actually seen the ride, our very first experience it. So we got the Terminator T800 right here, Battle Across Time version. We got the other toy that I missed out on, but now I got it when I was younger. The John Connor Future Bus, and then this is a VIP piece that either came out for it came out for Florida one. So this one came out in 96. The T800 from Endoskeleton from Hot Toys, the 1/4 scale. This is a box that I have from the Japan merchandise. I got an import, so I also got the Endoskeleton right there. It says Terminator 2 3D. I don't know if you guys can see that, but they want a lot for this Endoskeleton bobblehead. Oh, you also got the T800 right there, which is crazy. Then this is a piece from the another version of the T70. It's they had airport ones. I forgot to mention they had airport ones displayed for Universal Studios store back in the day. I don't know where exactly were these airport ones because I tried researching. It wouldn't tell me it was Florida or Hollywood. And these are the glasses from the ride. And the VIP for Hollywood when it opened in '99. These are custom Terminator 3D Battle Across Time NECA figures. Yeah, they're custom by me. The head scope is legit from NECA because they did do something like that. But no, it's not from this one. This one, everything's there. I had bought a second one, took that piece, and just sold the rest because nobody was trying to sell me the head scope, which makes sense. Who wants to have a figure for sale? Oh, yeah, this is the figure I was telling you about. Kimberly Duggan in Japan. Her name, Rike, whatever. Then there's a piece of T70 casket that I painted. Ticket themed, a bullet. I got two of these. Got one somewhere over here. I think you probably could pick it up behind the Kimberly. Oh, right here, right next to the Kimberly. Funko Pop. A Visa T2 3D. Terminator. The cup they were selling. What else? The advertisement they had. The pictures of all of them. The Hollywood, Japan, the Clovers, opening 2020, 27 April was 96 was Florida, 99 I think it was May or something for Hollywood. I can't see that far, but yeah. So yeah, this one has Florida, Japan right there, and Hollywood should be all in the corner. But yeah, this is all the stuff I have turned me to 3D. And I'm sure there's pictures I have. Oh yeah, these right here too. This so I got 1 and 2 because these are the ones I count as the Terminator, the actual legit Terminator stuff. My Terminator movies, and then T238 will be right here if they do ever come out with that. And then like I said, I got this 1/4 scale T100 Arnold statue, which I really love. I got this 2023, I believe, or 2022. But yeah, I got it before I went back to the University of Florida. It's been a while since I went. And then we'll go to the pictures of the cast. But yeah, before I do that, there's me with the supposed display screen accurate or screen used Arnold costume, supposedly. I'm behind it, and there's another picture right here, just chilling, happy that I'm there. And then everything else is like from over the years. I'm still gonna get more updates to other Universal Studios. Hopefully I get Singapore one day and Beijing. Japan for sure I'm getting, but I want to get Singapore and Beijing. Oh yeah, especially the Jaws. Look, got the Hollywood one right there, and I got the Florida one right there. In the future, I'm gonna get Japan, and that's the only one that I'm missing. that needs to be a picture of me in the shark. And then we got like I said, Robert Patrick, Lena Hamilton picture right here. Yep, that's happy old me. Talking to them, getting to know them a little bit of their opinion, the attraction. Because I was wearing that jacket that I had displayed. I can't show you, but I'm gonna show you. I showed you that clip. And here's younger me with Michael Bean and Edward Furlong. I was about like 16, I believe, when this happened. And this one I'm about like 22, 23. Maybe 22, going to 23. Yeah, 16. About 6 years later, or something like that. Boom. Meet those two. And then these are the rest of like random celebrities that are not included in the documentary or retrospective. But yeah, so anyway, guys, if you guys really like that video, please like, comment, subscribe. And yeah, I think my session with Terminator 3D. Oh yeah, here's the the date that I was supposed to publish. But anyways, so yeah, I kind of revealed too much of the next plan, but it is what it is. But yeah, if you guys like this video, please like, comment, subscribe. And I think my obsession should be over because I showed you guys like my obsession with Terminator 3D. So I don't know if I'll get updates to newer stuff or not. If not, I'll make shorts about it. But yeah, so hopefully I should be done with Terminator 3D as a video as a whole, unless I get new footage of other stuff in between it. But yeah, if you guys like, comment, subscribe, please, comment if you guys remember this ride, because I remember it heavily, as you can tell from this video. And tell me experience, like what's your favorite experience doing this ride, or what's your favorite attraction at Universal Studios Florida? Could be Disney too, don't care. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.